Expect the unexpected is more than a musical, it's a wake-up call to the soul. In a world full of constant stimulation and uncertainty, expect the unexpected as a portal into a whole new dimension where genre-bending, heart-opening songs and powerful storytelling reignite your imagination and connect you back to what truly matters. Oh, how are you?
We're together. Yeah, we made it. Fantastic. And you had you such a pro. She has such a setup with the wee music to make you wait and stuff.
I haven't been on live in so long, so I was like, oh my god, what do I do if this doesn't work? Like, did I just sit and talk to myself? Like...
You're my guest of honor. Okay, so we're gonna do plenty of references to different songs of the musical, obviously, because there's so much to say. So my name is Morgane, for people who don't know me. You probably hear a bit of an accent. I'm still working on it. I'm French. I've been living in Belfast for the past 7 years. I moved in 2019. And then just before landing in Belfast, I had a wee week in Glasgow and I met Rachel at that time. So this is my connection to Rachel today. So since I've started my entrepreneur journey in Northern Ireland in 3 different industries, so I really started with beauty and spa and then media and marketing, and now I'm just getting back to my dance background and entertainment. So all of this to just set you the frame and to explain to you why we're talking about the musical and the dance classes. So with Transcendance Belfast, what I am aiming to do, my mission really, is to make that and to shape this as a social enterprise. Dance classes that can be provided for local and online women to help them build confidence, charisma, to just empower women. Any woman who feeling like they are sort of stuck in inner child energy or masculine energy and they want to embrace their femininity, if they are feeling overwhelmed moms, if they are overworked career driven women, so any physical or mental health and challenges, I'm a true believer in music can actually heal, and movement and dance can heal.
Yeah, I believe that 100%.
I knew you would be on board on that. So that's really the goal and the mission. That's the intention through the dance classes. So it's not just whatever dance style it's going to be, if it is burlesque, if it is jazzy, if it's hip hop. I just don't want the classes to be, just movement for movement. It needs to be like just here to be there for an intention of culture, music discovery, to help other artists to be known. That is a perfect example. There's 3 great artists that are running a musical. So let's create something and let's help women to actually embrace their femininity through burlesque choreo class and make something creative about it and just express everyone's artistry on that. That's the concept of the class, and I wanted to have you on board today to introduce you as their rising star and as a recording artist, amazing singer, songwriter, vocal producer from Scotland. How are you feeling about having one of your songs, your co-written songs, choreographed and hosted as a class somewhere else? So it's not far away, but like in a country that's not your neighbor.
Oh, I can't wait to see the content that comes from this and just seeing people dance to Tuxedo. And if we do decide to do more of this, you do decide to do more of the songs, it'd be amazing to see. But I'd rather be there. Yeah. I'd rather be there with you guys.
Come on over, take the boat, or just jump in and see us.
It's so tempting. Once you have all the choreography and stuff, and if the musical starts to like kick off a bit, we could definitely arrange something like that, or even you could come to Scotland again, which would be incredible. And obviously when we made the show reel, I did a lot of choreography for the visuals for that.
You had your actually Tuxedo on Tuxedo song. You dance like with your hat, your cane, and then your
that's all improv though. I'm not gonna lie. Like I got my dad to film. My dad was filming it in my garage, and I was just like, Dad, just play the camera and I'll work something out. And got the hat, got the stick, and I was just like, just tap dance, just do whatever comes to mind. And I had some steps in mind, but then everything just ended up improvised. And then Marina, bless her, she did all the editing for it, and she chose out the best bits and absolutely nailed it.
Nailed it. Yeah, there's a lot of tap dancing. Like you have a lot of influence of like tap dancing and very jazzy and stuff. That's why like I was like, oh, that song. And what's the other one? Undercover
girl. Oh my god, you would be so good at dancing to that.
And I was like, okay, James Bond girls, I think that's the next choreo. That's there's
Yeah.
something there. It's so
That was another
cinematic, you
one.
know.
That was another one in the show reel, which was really fun to film because again it wasn't my dad that filmed this one, it was my boyfriend Sean, and we thought, right, let's just find somewhere really cool visual wise. So we found this like old kind of ruins. It wasn't a castle, it was like an old manor. And I was just going about,
Very nice, yeah.
yeah, I was just going about kind of pretending to be like a Lara Croft, James Bond's kind of vibe, and I was like rolling about the floor and everything. That was fun as well. But that turned out really cool.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Okay, so because the narrative is slightly different and you are hosting the live instead of us. Okay, so there's just an issue because I'm not popular enough. See,
oh,
I don't
will be.
followers.
Followers don't mean anything these days. Honestly.
So just to clarify, so you one of the co-writer, co-creator, and of the musical of Expect the Unexpected, and we have on board. They're not here today, but we have Marina and Jonathan. And if you would have to describe the musical to someone who knows nothing about it without spoiling, what would you say about that musical?
Without spoilers, oh my god. Do you know what? I could do one better. We have our pitch deck here that we have the main hook that we're pitching to producers and stuff. So I don't want to mess up the words, so I'm going to read it to you just to make sure it comes off.
You can prepare, guys.
I won't do it in a voice or anything, but I will make it really cool, or I'll try. So, Expect the Unexpected is more than a musical. It's a wake-up call to the soul. In a world full of constant stimulation and uncertainty, Expect the Unexpected is a portal into a whole new dimension where genre-bending, heart-opening songs and powerful storytelling reignite your imagination and connect you back to what truly matters. That's our pitch. But yeah, I mean, gosh, we could go on and on about the storyline passionately, but I don't want to tell any spoilers. So.
She doesn't want to say too much, guys.
It needs to remain unexpected. That's the whole point.
Exactly. Wow. Could you tell us about the musical, like the style, like the vibe? Is it like theatrical? Is it more drama, more comedy? What is it like?
So when we wrote the songs with having me as the artist in mind, and the way the whole musical came together was very naturally, but it wasn't specific where we were like, right, okay, all these songs are for the musical. It just kind of went that way. And when we wrote the songs, it was always in mind that I wanted to be cinematic pop, which is combining the cinematic world, theatre world, with pop, commercial pop, radio, etc. So it's very pop, but it has this epic kind of Hans Zimmer cinematic vibe that goes with it that can reach both worlds. So when it became the musical, it's become original cinematic pop musical, which combines every kind of genre that you could possibly think of. And the whole idea of Expect the Unexpected is that every scene has a song that's completely different from one another, so that when you're a viewer, you do not know what to expect when it comes musically and with the storyline. You're just constantly do not know what to expect.
So from one song to another, if you have it on stage, you're expecting sort of a cabaret sort of style, like something very different.
Every time. Like, I was listening to our soundtrack when I was walking my dog yesterday, and just I went from like crying to wanting to dance in the middle of the street to
because the vibes and the emotions through the songs are
so emotional.
Like there's some of them very cinematic. I see like Undercover Girl is very cinematic. What's the other one? Cinematica, I think.
So there's one with that's one of the songs that we wrote for our lead male character, which is a kind of, if you think of like Singing in the Rain vibes, we wrote it with that kind of old school, vintage, really chill, almost kind of jazzy vibe. So that one, yeah, it goes from like jazz to, 80s electric pop,
Is there a
Massive.
Latin-based or Spanish sort of vibe?
Yeah, there's a tango as well. Yeah, you would. Oh my god, you would love that. That one, Marina and John are doing the vocals for the demo in that, and it's just like it's so sexy. It's so sexy, and it's yeah, whatever you can imagine a tango to look like on stage, you can imagine it with this song, and yeah, it's just mysterious and really cool.
Great. Could you tell us about, see, the story, like, for the three of yous? I don't know, your background, or like what is the connection between yous three, and what works best between you three, like, and what way are you complementary?
Yeah, so Three Sparks Music came about. It was mainly, well, it was online obviously because John's from Australia, I'm from Scotland, and Marina's from Canada. So we'd never met at this point, and it was in 2019 when John had written a song he wanted a vocalist for. So he messaged me, and then I ended up doing the vocals for one of his songs. And then he said he'd written this song with a girl called Marina. So we were jumping on a call, and then that was it. Like we were just connected instantly, and it was just like, right, okay, we need to write some songs together. And we wrote every week for about maybe 2 or 3 years, and then we met finally in LA when we were filming a music video for one of my singles, Orange Tree. And then yeah, we ended up writing the musical, because the musical, at first we had all the songs, and then it was actually Marina that was just like, right, we have so many songs and they're so meant for the stage that we should write a musical. So our first steps was obviously finishing the songs, getting them all in demo form, and then we made this show reel. So we made the show reel and we started pitching it. And then our initial idea wasn't to actually write the script. We always thought that we would get someone to do that because we'd never done that before. Something came up that was expecting us to have the script ready, and we didn't want to wait. So we were like, we can do this. Like, we can write the script. We wrote the script over the summer last year. Every single day we showed up on Zoom calls for 2 to 3 hours for about 100 days. Every day, we didn't skip a day. And we finished the script. And when we realized that we didn't have to change any lyrics, not one lyric of any of the songs, but we built the script around the songs. And then we were just like, this is meant to happen. Like, we're meant to do this because it all just happens so naturally and so smoothly, and we didn't have to change anything for the storyline to fit the songs. And when you actually read the storyline and the story and what actually happens between these characters, and then read the lyrics, it's just very strange. Magical. It's so good how it worked out. But yeah.
Meant to be. Was it more likely like songs or lyrics, the first seed, or was it like a character or a vision, like saying like, I could picture that and let's do a song on this? Or
again, it all just kind of based from the music, and then having the idea of making the songs into a musical, and then the script came, and now we've just finished the audiobook as well, which is really cool because that's basically a workshop of the whole entire script, all the songs, everything together. So when we are pitching and getting it in front of the right eyes, we have a workshop, which I'm sure you'll probably ask about, like what is our next steps with that. But yeah, it's just something that comes about so naturally.
so is the audiobook, what's the audiobook like? Is it gonna be like, is it like hosted on Spotify, or
It's not, so it's I mean, it's just so fun, but we actually acted out all the parts ourselves. I don't know if we would be necessarily putting this version out to the world, but it's definitely something that we want to do in the future, is
okay,
get rid of us as the actors. Not that we're not good, but there's scenes where Marina is literally putting on this like male accent and male tone and accent to play one of the male parts, and it's so funny. And then I had to do like a couple of American accents and be evil for Miss Elena, or villain character.
characters?
So this is technically wouldn't really want that out in the world, but I mean, our ideas might change in the future if people were like, you know, really want to hear it just for laughs. But for now, it's purely purpose of pitching it and getting it in front of the right eyes to have the workshop ready. But I will be sharing parts of it on our social media, on our pages for Expect the Unexpected Musical. So if you are interested in hearing some of it, I would definitely go follow it. It's so fun. It's really fun. Really funny.
Did you came across with Marina or Jonathan? Like any like what was your collaboration dynamics? Do you recall having issues or like disagreement about like creatively speaking and saying like no, that's a big no, and saying like no, we need to have that in, and then how do you sort that out?
You're not going to believe this, but to be honest, we've never had any disagreements when we've been writing the musical or like songs, and I think it's because there's no egos involved whatsoever. There's just plain level fields where we call it a three sparks session. So when we go and write music, we go into these Zoom calls and we come up with a concept or a title, and then we three sparks it. So that's us going off individually and coming up with hooks and melodies and ideas and stuff like that, and then coming together and we listen to whatever people have come up with, what we've come up with, and then we just pick out the best parts from each. And there's never any like, oh no, my bit is better than your bit. There's never been any of that, and I can wholeheartedly say that we've never had that problem, and I don't think we ever will. And that's what's been so amazing with the musical as well, because when it came to writing the script, we did the exact same process when we went away and wrote out the scenes ourselves, and then we went through them and picked out the best scenes and lines in the script.
So even in the creative process, everything worked like effortlessly, and then you had sort of a flow, like some harmony in your relationship into like the creative flow as well. So
I mean, their story is a lot more magical than mine, because they actually fell in love during writing the musical, which I've said to you before, but they're now married, and it's so beautiful. Like when I couldn't make the wedding unfortunately, but they had a wedding in Canada and they had a wedding in Australia, and they used one of the musical songs, Infinite, the love story song, for their wedding dance. So that's also in the showroom too. But oh my god, just the most amazing story, and it was unexpected.
of course,
literally unexpected. I remember when they told me, it was really funny because the lead up of them telling me, we're on Zoom calls, and you know, none of us really dressed up or anything for the Zoom calls. Like we're just chilling in our, you know, sometimes I was chilling in my jammies, but I noticed that Marina and John started to like kind of, you know, doll themselves up, and I never knew why. And I was like starting to think like, oh my god, should I start like dressing up and like doing my hair a bit better? But then I realized it's because they were like falling in love and they wanted to look good for each other. So which is really, really cute and really, really sweet. But we incorporated a lot of that love story within to our musical script. And it makes everything just seem a lot more personal, but also it's so relatable as well for a lot of people and a lot of the audience.
So, it is romantic. That's cute.
So romantic. It's so romantic.
About the title, about the name, did you pick Expect the Unexpected from like, was it like a sudden revelation saying that it needs to be that, or when did that came up?
Yeah, so Expect the Unexpected came from, that was originally when we were working on my artist project. So we're writing all these songs for my artist project. I'd always wanted that title as my album cover, and my album title. And so it was, I think it was the second song that we ever wrote together. Again, it was an instant kind of three spark session where we just came up with a hook, blah, 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 blah. And then once the musical idea had hit, it was just obvious that it needed to be the title, because it was going to be the album title. But it's also just such a cool concept to build a musical around, where you can play with so many different things, so many aspects of the music and the script and the even when it comes to marketing, like when we come to market this musical, the amount of like headlines and stuff you can picture of like Expect Unexpected, and so many ways people can play with headlines and stuff. So it was just a natural instinct of it being the best option for the title of the musical.
Makes sense. So where do you get your inspiration? Where do you get your influences? Is there artists or movies or anything that went and influenced you more likely for this specific project, or I don't know, a specific song, like for example Tuxedo, because that's going to be the song of the choreo class, Um, did you have anything special influencing you for this one or another one?
Well, I think Tuxedo is one of the best kind of the more theatrical side of the songs that we have. We've got quite a lot of songs that are more theatre than pop, but because it's cinematic pop, they obviously combine. But Tuxedo is just that perfect kind of, I don't know, it's almost like you can picture it on stage. And obviously I've seen some of your choreography already, and it's just perfect for that kind of style of dance. And it's just proper musical theatre. But I think vocally, because I'm doing the track on the demo, I could picture Christina Aguilera singing it. And I think that's one of the things I had in mind is when, obviously when we were writing it, having that kind of really strong tone and almost combining it with that theatrical tone, but yeah, keeping it still a little bit pop. So Christina Aguilera was obviously one of the artists that I grew up listening to, so she's always influenced me. But for the musical as a separate entity, I would say we were inspired by just what we think people would love. So just obviously it's an original musical, so we just wanted to combine everything that we know people would relate to and love, and send a message that even though it's a magical cinematic world, it still relates to reality in so many different ways. So yeah, I think people will find something that they love in every scene and every song that can be familiar but at the same time being unique.
Yeah, you wanted something that connects and resonate with people, and the variety and the diversity of each song built into the musical is actually providing this and impacting different people on a different level.
Yeah, totally. And there's obviously, without giving spoilers for the storyline, there's songs in it that will really cut deep. And, you know, because when they were written from, you know, loss of people that we've lost in our real lives as well. So there's going to be a lot of really relatable factors through some of the ballads, for sure. There's a song in it called The Lucky Ones, which is the main theme and the message behind the musical as an entirety, where the message is just being grateful for what you have and not taking advantage of your life, and, you know, being happy for who you are and your family and your friends, and just
The gratitude song.
Yeah, being lucky for life, even though the world is completely, you know, the story and the concept of it is magical and it's not reality. The core is completely realistic.
For any aspiring singers that you could have the opportunity to empower to help them to follow their dreams, if there is any singers or songwriters in the audience now or later on rewatching this live, what would you recommend them, like giving them pro tips to say, like, that's the best way to start your flow, and that's the way you can carry on and just finish, like, what's the journey on writing a song or writing a musical?
For me, finding a great team is always great, but if you are working individually, I always just find, like, if you are going through writer's block, go for a walk.
Yeah.
I used to have this writing tree in my local park that I would go to, and I would just sit there, and the view was always, I think this is why I come up with all these like cinematic songs. It's because I live in Scotland, so the views are just incredible, as you know. So my writing tree was always overlooking the loch, and I just would sit there and just write songs, and it would flow. But yeah, writing process can be different for everybody. I think it's a very personal thing where, you know, for me, if I'm sitting down at piano, I can come up with chords and then just lyrics and melodies flow. Or I get sent tracks, you know, like John, phenomenal producer, like one of the best producers or the best producer I've ever worked with. I have a song coming out probably in the next month or so where this amazing producer sent me, and I wrote the lyrics and the melody to it within like half an hour, just because the track was so good. And I think that's what I kind of drive from, is when the music touches you instantly and something flows really quickly and naturally. That's when you know you're on the right path. And I can put that into anything, any life experience of like the musical or working with Marina and John or anything that I've done in my career. If it's smooth and it feels right, it's right.
I was just wondering, like, see, what would, but we can't speak for them because they're not here, but what would Marina and John and yourself be advising any young singers or musician to just go for the dream and just go successfully and the more efficiently and safely in this industry? Have any insights?
Yeah, I've always been quite open about my experiences in the industry, and they've not always been the best experiences. I have learned so much from it, and you know, my song "Not the Same Girl," I kind of touched on that. That was a song that me, Marina, and John wrote as well, and it talks about, you know, when you're younger, you're very naive. If you're offered something or something sounds good, you don't really think about the consequences. You don't think about, you know, if anyone's got the true intentions. And I think in the music industry or any kind of industry in entertainment, if you don't know the business side of things, you can get yourself into really bad situations. So I find that if I was to offer any advice to young girls, or even if I was, you know, talking to my younger self, I would say learn about the business and do not trust anyone unless they prove that you can trust them. So actions over words every day, and never be scared to ask questions.
Red flag is to ask questions and not get answers, or just
yeah, there's a lot of people who talk a good game in the industry, so if they don't back it up with actions, I'm out the door. Knowing not to be a people pleaser as well. Like people pleasing is such an easy thing to do because you're always wanting to be liked and you're always wanting to be, you know, appreciated. But I think you've got to set boundaries. I would say learn about the business, definitely, and get a lawyer if you can.
Okay, would you have one, like a specific memory, your most challenging episode of during musical creation, and your favorite part, a favorite song or a favorite part of the musical creation that you want to share with us?
I have so many, to be honest. It's just been so fun. Yeah, oh my god. I mean, musically, probably even just that first listen to the musical soundtrack as a whole, just that feeling of like, wow, we've created that and that's real and that's there for, you know, hopefully eventually the world to see. The script, because that was so unexpected, that was so fun because we were learning something along the way, like something that we've never done before, and because it happened so naturally as well. When we'd finished that script and being able to share it with our family, and our family's reactions were like crying and just like proper proud, you know, family reactions. That felt amazing. And then also just what we would do was when we were reading back the script and kind of, you know, doing like final draft touches, we would act it out on these Zoom calls, like the parts, you know, I would do like Elena, the villain, and Cora, Marina would be Cora, John would be Damien, and any of the male characters, and it was just fun to do. It was really funny, and I think we recorded some of the Zoom calls, which was just such a fun experience to read back what we'd written. That was probably one of the best parts of the process. Also, just the very first time we announced it on social media, because obviously we want to create buzz on TikTok and Instagram, and get the word out and get some analytics of who would our audience be. Being able to share the song, posting all these visuals that we've done, and having fun with the content creation, that's also been a really cool part too. So.
And David in comments was saying that it was difficult to pick just one.
Yeah.
Or
I don't know if I could pick a favourite song because they're all, like I said, they're all so different because they're all unique to the scenes and everything. So yeah, it's hard to pick a favourite song. Actually, I think probably Burning Man Love, because it's that I love that epic cinematic dark theme. When that song hits and it goes to its power point, it gives you chills, and I love that. about music. That's always something I want my music to do to other people, is just to make them feel things. So yeah, probably Down in My Love is my favorite song.
High impact emotionally.
Yeah. And I just love mermaids as well, so it's a siren song.
She sings so well for some reason, I don't know why. So what is the goal and what is the next milestone that the three of you are heading to move forward? Like, what's the next step and stop for musical?
Our next step is now to, I think I said at the beginning that we've created this audiobook, and our next step now is to get the funding so that we can do proper workshops. And then the idea is to just build the hype as much as possible, whether that be online or we do workshops that end up heading to festivals like the Fringe. There are things that we have on the background that we can't talk about that are moving things forward as well. So really exciting things that hopefully will come to head that will progress the musical. So yeah, just mainly just building hype around, and obviously your dance class is going to help in that as well. Yeah, and just get that content out there and just let the world know what's coming.
Dream venue or dream city for first staging? Because obviously the choreo and the classes that I'm hosting are not officially linked to, we'll talk about that later. But yeah, any ideas for the first run, wherever you want to see that happening, and what is it, like bold and like massive audience, or do you want something like a mystic, or what would you want to go?
That kind of links into your last question, because the workshops are obviously aiming to be that first kind of step to see it as a whole and get actors and musicians and everything, and to have it be a visual on stage kind of set. But we're aiming big. Like, we've always had the Broadway stage and in the West End, so I think that's always going to be our ultimate goal. And I think if we don't aim big, you can't expect the unexpected.
You never know.
You just never know. I think for this kind of world, you have to be delusional and you have to just keep fighting. And if you really believe in something, and personally, I don't think I've ever believed in anything that I've worked on more than this. And I think it's just brings so much joy to the world, and just an escapism because there's a lot going on in the world, and it's very dark and sad, and just want to bring a bit of light to the world. And I think this musical would do that in every way possible, with the music and the storyline and the world that we've created with it. So yeah, but Broadway. So your question, Broadway and West End
is that Broadway, guys? I guess.
So aim big for sure.
Exactly. Or just aim for the moon and you'll land in the stars. That's what I say.
100%. I'm just gonna wave to all these people. Hey.
Amazing. So next step definitely is to get financial support and then producers for the musical and getting Broadway stage, and you all sorted. So
that's cool. Definitely.
Do you have any ideas in mind, like anything specific in terms of production?
100%. I mean, when we were writing the script, and because all three of us as writers, when we wrote the music, we already have like music videos in mind. It was my artist stuff, and obviously when we write songs from my artist projects, we ended up doing the music videos exactly how we envisioned them when we wrote the songs. So when it comes to the musical, when we're listening to these songs and when we're writing the script, we actually have done a lot of the stage direction within a lot of the narration parts. So yeah, we've kind of done a lot of the stage direction and have that in mind and have that all written down with all the concepts of each song and the visuals, whether it be colors and the dancing, the choreography, all that kind of style for each song. And again, going back to the idea that every song is unexpected and different genre, it then connects to the different unique styles of dancing and costume as well. So we've got all the visuals in mind. I think our next step as well would be to write out a kind of stage direction book, to have like a kind of almost kind of comic book style of the staging of what we envision for each song and each scene, and you know, we've always had that in mind to have as well. Yeah. I've always had the visuals and the staging in mind for each part.
Brilliant. Musical in one word for someone who's just like obviously interested in learning more and just speak and spread the word to their friends. What would you say?
Can I do 2 words?
You can have 3 if you want.
Okay, I'll go 2. Magically unexpected.
Ah, that's cute.
Or just unexpected, because it's obviously.
So don't expect anything.
Don't expect anything. Other than to have a good time. If this show does get made, or I'll say manifestation, when this show does go to Broadway or West End, not only can you expect the unexpected, you can just expect to have the best time of your life.
Is it too bold to expect to have it happening at a certain date or year? Like, do you want to see it happening in 2027, or do you think it's going to happen later? Or?
I mean, realistically, if a show is kind of picked up, it is like a 2-year kind of window or 2-year time. So I think it's John that says he's got to do it about 2028. But there's going to be a lot, if that does happen and that is kind of goal in mind for timescale, there's going to be a lot that happens in between that time, obviously, and everything will be documented on our social channels.
And would you have, after Broadway, of course, would you have staging in Canada or in Australia or in Scotland? Is that the plan at some stage?
Yeah, well, you hear of musicals kind of touring. I mean, it would be great just to have it tour worldwide.
Come and see us. Come and see us in Belfast. Like, don't forget about us.
Yeah. I mean, if we're really talking about ambition and, you know, manifestations, our storyline and our music, you know, we see it as being in a film. I think it really does have that theme that would work on film. So yeah, that would be the next step after the little small Broadway stage.
Amazing. Well, that was plenty of information. If there's one last questions probably that people like the Belfast ladies who will be interested in joining the choreo class on one of your songs, which is Tuxedo, what would you like to say to those ladies who might be interested in partaking to the class but then like maybe like scared about like approaching a burlesque or dance class but they're intrigued and they're interested to get to know your music and the musical, because this is going to be the song that we're going to work for the next 4 weeks over March, every Wednesday evening, because you had your own choreo in that song, and then the visuals is including canes and hats and a tuxedo jacket. So I said, okay, we're going to use this and we're going to implement a bit more. We're going to use feather fans and then buzz. So we'll offer the ladies to be able to play with that. So what do you want to say about that song?
Yeah, well, Tuxedo is just, again, it's one of the most theatrical songs that we have in the musical, so just have fun with it and be sexy yourself. The fact that there's going to be women dancing to this epic girl song just speaks for itself, where, you know, it's all about femininity and girl power. So yeah, just have fun with it.
Any tips for those ladies who might feel like, oh, you know, like I am afraid of exposure, scared of like not being good enough or not performing well enough or not confident in my body, or the fear of exposure, the fear of imperfection, like from a pro point of view? Do you want to give any insights on that?
Well, I don't really count myself as a pro dancer, so I think you would probably be better at saying something like that. Advice from an entertainment as a whole perspective, I would say perfection doesn't exist. So when you're dancing, like, I think the main feel of just that expression through your body and just letting loose and not feeling like you have to be perfect. And I think Tuxedo's like the perfect, you know, kind of song to express yourself in that way. So ultimately just have fun with it and don't expect perfection.
Don't expect
perfection. Expect the unexpected.
Amazing. Okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. And then obviously, like, it's the best song, as you said. It's very theater jazz and very theatrical and very like empowering. So that's the best way to unleash their femininity and their sexuality and just explore the song and just really play with it. Anything else that you want to share about the musical that we did in?
I think we've covered pretty much everything. I mean, I have my pitch deck here. We're just excited to explore more of sharing it to social media and sharing the songs that we've, spent the last 5 years writing, and we've just wanted to get them out to the world. But there's so many of them that we were like, how are we going to get them all out without putting out an album, which we don't have the funding for? And it was like, let's write a musical.
That might come.
Let's write a musical. Because the whole concept of the musical is cinematic pop, or the whole genre style, and myself being an artist, Marina's an artist as well, and John's a producer. Our ultimate goal, and something that we do really plan on doing, is to release a concept album of the musical songs. This would be like pop released versions of the songs as an album, and then me releasing them as the artist, and Marina as the artist as well. This musical, being one thing, could just elevate everything, all of our careers and all of our goals surrounding it as well. So hopefully it's all just going to link up and
that is what we wish for you, for sure.
Thank you. It's been a lot of hard work, but it's been worth it in a minute.
Yeah, so for me, probably just a wee reminder, clarification about the choreo, just to precise that, just in case if anyone is discovering you and the musical today through the class that I'm planning to host under Transcendance Belfast, just a precision to just mention that the choreography content has been created independently, and then it's obviously for social media purpose and entertainment value as well, and educational value, but it's like a fan made use for this choreo, and it's just like the rights remains to you, and then to Jonathan and then Marina, because you're three of you the co-creators. So just for me to precise this, but then you will be like delighted to have Belfast ladies to come next March for.
I can't wait to see it. I honestly can't wait. Just send all the videos my way and I'll post them all over social media, because I cannot wait to see people dancing to this song, because it's just so epic. And to have seeing people enjoy it and moving and just having the best time is going to be so cool, so fun to see, because we've had this song ready for so long that we just want people to hear it.
Of course. Well, it's gonna be well played for the next 4 Wednesdays.
So just film everything. We want to see it all.
Amazing. Yeah. So that's gonna be full in props, chair choreo with feather fan, boas, hat, cane, tuxedo jacket, free heels, and then confidence to be built and charisma. And then we have 3 weeks technically to really learn and clean and polish every move, and then building some confidence enough to show up on week 4, and hopefully for the more bold women who's gonna dare and to share some content and then just relate to use. So yeah, excited.
David said, dance to it. Go on, show us the video.
Just do a wee live and that's it, just pop up.
Yeah, that would be great. But yeah, I am looking forward to it, and obviously we'll share any content that you send us. We can post all over our Instagram and our TikTok. Yeah, and I think we're eventually going to start up our YouTube channel as well, where we're going to be documenting kind of the progress.
Nice. We've behind the scenes.
Yeah, so we're able to post kind of little snippets in the future as well onto our vlogs, and yeah, keep updated.
Amazing. What is the best social media channels to follow to follow Marina and Jonathan?
Yeah, so my handle is at Rachelle Rhienne. So obviously I've had to host today, so you can find me. Marina's is Marina Bennett Music, and John is John Mill Music. And in terms of the musical, expect the musical, ETU musical on TikTok. If you want to sneak our show reel and keep up to date with our progress to Broadway, the mailing list is just expectandexpectedmusical.com.
Amazing. So, well, wish everyone will stay put and go on the website and just sign up to the mailing, and then I will stay in touch to keep an eye on how things are going for you guys. So
yeah, thank you so much for doing this as well. So sweet of you, and you know, I love that we can kind of collab on this and hype each other up.
Well, thank you for sharing that time with us and helping us to just bring that culture in Belfast, and then bring a bit of artistry and just your vibe, and yeah, amazing.
Thank you. It's really quickly, I can't believe your accent's gone.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when you messaged me about a month ago, like a voice note on WhatsApp, I was like, Morgane, is that you? Because if anybody doesn't know, Morgane's French, so she used to have a really strong, thick French accent. And how long have you lived in Belfast now?
7 years.
7 years. So 7 years, it's like really Irish, really, really Irish.
I think probably spending a lot of time with my partner and my stepkids are like, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember my partner's kids talking for the first 6 months, like slow down, repeat. It's just terrible. I think my accent and my understanding was so behind, and then like hopefully I'm a bit better now. But I don't spend days speaking French. I don't.
Oh, you don't speak French anymore? Wow.
Rarely. Like my colleague in work, the therapist that works with me, she is French, so obviously we do talk sometimes in French, but like it's very rare. I really speak
Wow.
most of the time English, and I'm immersed. I don't have any French friends that much here, like the French community. It's
Yeah.
just yeah.
Wow. Yeah, no, I love your Irish accent now. When I heard the WhatsApp, I was just like, oh my God, that's it's not Morgane, but I love it. Thank you so much for your interview and for supporting the musical and for putting the classes on. And I can't wait to see the dancers and you doing all the choreography, and we will share it.
Amazing. Well, thanks everyone.
Bye.